Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl RHONY J. If you're new here, thank you for listening. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, whatever you want to call it. We are halfway through the week, only 2 more days to Friday. Like I said, if you're new here, this channel is all about keeping you up to date on everything from news to the latest headlines, pop culture, and everything else in between. We're going to talk a little bit of reality TV shows, maybe some scripted, just whatever's trending. News you can use. So, with that being said, one thing I wanted to talk about today in this video was Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, aka the Bonito Bowl. Okay. Listen, I do not know a lick of what that man said, not one word. But what I can tell you was I knew them beats, and them beats was fire. Okay. So we're gonna talk today Bonito Bowl. I want to talk about some of the symbolism that was in the video. I want to talk about reactions from the haters. Baby MAGA and some of the girls and boys are upset. They're pissed. So let's get into that. And then just highlight some of the people that worked on the Super Bowl as well, um, who helped choreograph some of the dancing, as well as who handed out the trophy. So let's get into some things. So starting with Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance. Before I start, these are my views, my opinions, my reactions to watching it. So I did watch it the night of, and I went back and watched it again just to take it all in and watched it with English translations, just so I could kind of understand some of the words and see if there was any meaning in some of the things that he was saying when he wasn't singing. And so what I loved was that he took you from the sugarcane fields in Puerto Rico to Puerto Rico itself, to the island's culture, to then taking you to New York, and then ending with like the Americas. I just thought the set design, the storytelling, the way everything moved cohesively during the performance, like the flow of the performance just moved cohesively. I just thought it was well done, well executed. Shout out to, if it's the same man that does the Super Bowl performances every year, which I think he does, shout out to you. I can't think of your name right now, but you did the damn thing. Um, let's talk about some of the symbolism that was in the video. So I don't know if they live streamed the sugarcane fields. I couldn't tell because I'm like, that don't look like the stadium. I don't know if that was AI or what it was, or if they live streamed that from Puerto Rico or somewhere. But we start in the sugarcane fields, which sugarcanes are so symbolic to just the Americas, right? Like during slavery days, during colonization, a lot of people worked the sugarcane fields as well as in America. I believe America has some sugarcane fields in the South. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. Don't come from my head. With that being said, he pans you to like the streets of Puerto Rico. So you see the coconut stands. I feel like everybody who may be Caribbean has definitely seen a coconut stand. If you live in Florida, you have definitely seen somebody selling coconuts on the side of the roads in South Florida. And so that was to me just like tribute to like just the Caribbean in general. That just went beyond Puerto Rico. The plastic chairs, the uncles and poppies and abuelitos, as they say, playing dominoes. I feel like dominoes is it's not the same as spades, but like the same way Black Americans love spades, I feel like Caribbean people love dominoes, and so do Latinos. So I just thought all of that really represented the culture well. The ices, somebody selling something on a hot day. Um, I think that icy stand was a guy from Puerto Rico who is known for that and that wherever the area he's from. And so I thought that was beautiful. Then coming to New York, showing the grocery store market, the like barbershop salon, all of that was just so cute to me. I just really, really loved it. The power grids, apparently in parts of Puerto Rico, the electricity grid is really bad. They struggle with keeping electricity running 24/7, or they have a lot of outages sometimes throughout the years or when storms hit. I thought that was beautiful, paying a nod to that. And then lastly, just wrapping it up with God Bless America. When I saw them flags come out, I said, wait a minute. Who is Bad Bunny cussing out? He said, God bless America, and then just started saying, Paraguay, Uruguay, El Salvador. I said, hold on, wait a minute. I know you is tearing somebody up. But all jokes aside, I just thought that that was so beautiful. I really loved how he paid tribute to the whole America as the continent of the Americas, right? Not just United States, which sometimes we can forget that in the US, right? Because we're like the United States of America. The world may always just view like this side of the world as, oh, it's the Americas, and then everything else. I love how he called out like the North Americas, Canada, the US, Central America, right? Panama, and many others. And then, South America, Venezuela, all the countries. He even shouted out Cuba, like Grenada. I was like, okay, come on with all the shout outs for the girls. So I thought that was just a beautiful representation of like this whole side of the Western world, right? And then some other little things that I read online. He had the PR social club, like a Puerto Rican social club that's popular in New York. I think it's one of the only last ones. Another major call out for me, the first thing I noticed when I watched the performance was the diversity in dancers. So, some of you may know this. If you don't, Latin America can be very colorist, very racist to their own, especially if they are of darker skin tones, brown skin tones, anything that is not close to whiteness. And they don't always portray those darker skin Latinos and Hispanics in media, right? That's not always the media representation that we see. So, even just seeing a sea of colorful people, okay, dancing and grinding and doing a 1 2 1 2. I loved that. And I was like, yes, show the variety of Hispanics, baby, not just the light and bright ones. Um, which we love y'all too, but y'all get what I'm saying. So I really, really loved that. I loved the diversity there with just the dancers. He also was saying in the middle of his performance in one of his songs, like I think it was the wedding scene, Dance Without Fear, right? Love Without Fear. I thought that was cute. When he handed the Grammy to his younger self, that choked me up. I said, this is so sweet. And just some of the things he was saying when he was doing the Spike Lee dolly shot of basically saying, he believed in himself. This is why he's here. Believe in yourself too. It something along the lines like of it will pay off for you too. So I loved all of that. Ricky Martin scene. When Ricky Martin was singing, I was reading the translation and he was talking about them wanting your neighborhood, them wanting your beach, them wanting your grandma to leave. Like, remember your flag. Don't forget where you're from. No, no, no. Like, don't leave. And that just made me think of like colonizers and how people will come into your land, your home, wanting to take your things, remove your access from things, from your resources, and just strip you. And so that touched my heart when he talked about that because I think regardless, everyone can relate to that, right? In America, the slavery between African Americans, Native Americans, you have slavery that was taking place in South America, you have the Caribbean, right? Just coming in and hurting indigenous people, stripping them of their land across the Americas, right? North, South, and the American islands, as I like to call it, which aka the Caribbean. I just thought that that was like a powerful message, even though it was in Spanish. And I took away from that, like, don't forget where you're from when he kept saying, remember your flag. Let me see if there was anything. Oh, Lady Gaga. So, y'all, when I heard Lady Gaga singing, the first thing that came to my mind was, where's Bruno Mars? As soon as I heard the song, all I could think of was Bruno Mars. I didn't even remember she was on the song. And I said, if I have one critique of this, I would have loved to see this thing color people of like color all the way out. Okay? Let's immigrant it all the way out. We already halfway here. Even though Bad Bunny not an immigrant, but y'all get my point. Like, why we got this white lady up here? Why? No offense to Lady Gaga. I love you down boots, girl, but why? So I said not Bad Bunny, but Bruno Mars must have not been available. I would have loved to see Bruno Mars do that. And I think he would have tore and ate that stage up. Nonetheless, overall, Benito Bowl, Bad Bunny Bowl, whatever you want to call it, I think it was great. I'm gonna give him a great job. 10 out of 10 for me, no notes. I have no complaints. I feel like the storytelling was beautiful. The way the story moved, the set moved with the story, the different messages, the different nods to culture, Hispanic culture, Caribbean culture. Outside of that, the message at the end of like, love is better than hate, right? Love each other and like sending a message to the Americas, not even America, right? But like the Americas, let's be as one. I felt like that was so powerful, right? Because even at the end, he could have just made it all about Puerto Rico. I feel like bringing out all those flags. Some of those countries aren't Latino countries, right? With a large Latino population or whatever like that. So just the unity that sent a message of like us as the Americas unite. I just thought that was so good. Whoever did the choreography, whoever had them bushes out there, okay? I was like, I want to be a bush and get paid. The sugar cane, just all of it was just very well thought out. You could tell somebody took their time and intention of thinking through that set, thinking of how each of his songs would move throughout each phase in the story, right? From when we leave Puerto Rico into going into New York into ending back in Puerto Rico. So just beautiful across the board. Now, with that being said, there were definitely some haters. Definitely some people who were pissed and who were not a fan. So we're going to dive into some of that. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at what some of the people had to say because the girls were pissed. Okay. Pissed. Pissed. 1 second while I share my screen. Okay. All right. So first, I was like scrolling through on Twitter and the first thing I see is Chris Brown. And he's like, I think it's safe to say they need me. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. When I first saw this, I was not really thinking that it was a diss. It wasn't until like the timeline started going and people started reacting that I was like, oh, he's being shady. And I really realized that it was a diss when I saw like Little Boozy and a clip from Mace, like saying the halftime show was a 4 out of 10 and they hated it and all that jazz that they didn't like it. I was like, oh, he really was hating from outside the club. What? I was like, why even post this? Now, don't get me wrong. I do think Chris Brown would make a great Super Bowl performance. His Breezy Bowl was amazing. He did a great job. But it's also like, let the Latinos have their day. Let the Latinos have their day. Last year we was bopping and doo-wop popping and crip walking with Kendrick Lamar. Let the Latino girlies have their day. Okay? I could tell just by the reactions that I was seeing online, so many people just felt happy to be seen, happy to be represented, happy to just feel like, wow, they probably never thought that they would ever have a full Spanish performance ever at the Super Bowl, let alone a lot of award shows, right? Outside of the Latin Grammys. So I felt like just let them enjoy this moment, right? Whether we like it or not, whether you love it or not, whether you ain't fooling with them people or not, let them have this. So that's my opinion on the matter. So I saw that and I said, dang, Chris Brown, why you do that? And the other thing I'm going to call out with that too, everybody who was like hyping him, I just feel like, why don't y'all at Jay-Z? Jay-Z the one who helping along with the board put this together. But you know, Jay-Z the one who helping probably bring the picks. My opinion, all alleged. I have no idea how this thing runs. But in my mind, he plays an integral role into helping the artist get selected. Now, why you ain't calling out Jay-Z? Say at Jay-Z, I think it's safe to say you need call Jay-Z out. Boozy, call up Jay-Z. Y'all love to talk about Jay-Z any other day and say he's a strong, black, good man, Savannah. Call him out and tag him and let him know y'all want Chris on the docket. You ain't gonna do it because y'all scary. So that's the only thing that annoys me with this is like, why don't y'all at Jay-Z and tell Jay-Z, hey, y'all need to have Chris on the line. So that's that. Moving on, some other news that was taking place. So for some of you who don't know or don't watch Real Housewives, basically there is the franchise of New York and they are doing a reboot on E, which is no longer tied to NBC Universal. I believe the new media company that owns E now is Versailles or Versant Media, one of the two. I might have the name mixed up, but you get the point. So they're doing a reboot of the Legacy RHONY Girls. And one of the women who are supposed to star in this new upcoming like reboot of Real Housewives of New York, I think it was called like the Golden Girls. She had a lot to say. So I'm going to play a snippet of what Jill Zarin had to say. And then we're going to get into what happened to Jill after she made these comments. Because Jill ain't doing too well right now. We're going to start it back from the top.
250 years that we're celebrating right now in the United States. And I just don't think it was appropriate to have it in Spanish. And quite frankly, I didn't need to see him grabbing his, G area. I think it was totally inappropriate. You've got all these young kids watching the Super Bowl, and he doesn't have to be grabbing himself every 5 seconds. Is he so insecure? Seriously, I didn't understand it. I don't speak Spanish. I would have liked to have known the words he was saying. To me, it looked like a political statement because there were literally no white people in the entire thing. I think it was a political statement, and I'm not taking a side one way or the other. I just do. I think it was an ICE thing. And I just think that the NFL sold out, and it's very sad because this was 75 years. And, shame. Shame. And Lady Gaga got a facelift. I didn't recognize her. I literally had to Google her face to see who it was because we all couldn't agree who it was. So that was kind of fun in the middle of halftime. At least it gave me something to do because it was so hard to watch.
All right, y'all. So that was what Jill had to say. She made a comment. Another old housewife from Beverly Hills made a similar comment. We also had Teresa, Joe Giudice's wife, ex-husband, not wife. Woo! But my God, today, Joe Gorga, let's see. He has some nasty comments as well. Let me see if I can find those. We ain't even gonna pull up Joe. We'll just cliff notes that. Basically, Joe Gorga, if many of y'all might know, Teresa, you've probably seen her in the media as the housewife who flipped a table on Real Housewives of New Jersey. Her ex-husband, who is an criminal, convicted felon for fraud, deported, living in the Bahamas, begging Trump to come back to the United States, having his daughter write letters for a pardon, said that the United States is out of control. We are brainwashed. We need to stop this. In the words of T.S. Madison, stop this. And that this is getting out of hand. The worst performance ever, blase, 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 blah. I just feel like between Jill, the lady from Housewives of New York, and him, I just think it's whack. I think y'all are really showing the type of people y'all are. I think the rhetoric is nasty. I think for a man to be Italian, who's also an immigrant who lived in the United States and is deported, baby, you should be the last person talking about Bad Bunny, who's actually from Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, which unfortunately a lot of Americans are slow and did not pay attention to geography. Still to this day, plenty of them probably travel to Puerto Rico and don't even realize that they in a U.S. territory, right? And no shade. Even if you didn't know that, now you know. So it's like y'all still know that this man is from a US territory and y'all upset and y'all still talking crap. Y'all still making it seem like you're just clueless on the fact that he is an actual US citizen. Newsflash too, when y'all finally find out that the US Virgin Islands is a US territory too, they not some other countries when y'all down there at St. Thomas and all the rest of them, newsflash, your country colonized them places. So then people have right, they don't have to need no passport to get home. Okay? It's just crazy to me. I just feel like all this hate and stuff and backlash that's just been coming out is sickening. It's sad to see. Like, if you don't like something, you ain't gotta like it. Now, Jill did say Bad Bunny was thrusting. I'm not gonna lie. I said, hold on now. Bad Bunny was winding it up, baby. But I ain't had no issue with it. He ain't the first. They have somebody out there doing a pop lock and drop it. So what? Let them people have their day. Um, but yeah, Bad Bunny, I said, wait a minute. When he was on top of that pole, Bad Bunny was whining for his life. I said, oh, reggaeton, viva reggaeton. But yes, it has just been very interesting, very crazy to see all of these reactions, all of the negativity being spewed. And I love the message at the end of the Super Bowl that he was trying to get across, which is really, at the end of the day, we need more of this in the time that we're living in right now because there's a lot of darkness and a lot of sadness. Like, the only thing that we need is more love. Okay. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. So you don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to agree with everybody's political ideologies, but like, we just don't have to spread hate. When that lady was saying too, oh, we need to see more white people. I loved how Don Lemon was like, well, if you check the Epstein file, girls, there is all the white people and more that you ever need. That was a read and an actual fact because I've been getting into that too. I'll probably do another video on just some of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff and this lady from the Today Show's mom and how that's missing. But besides the point, like all of this hate being spewed at Bad Bunny because he got selected to do a performance and said yes is crazy to me. And if y'all really have an issue with it, take it up with Jay-Z. Okay? That's how I feel. And the NFL. So lastly, I'll close out on just a few notes. So follow-ups, the lady Jill from Real Housewives of New York, she ended up being fired from her show. She came out and made a statement saying, they didn't even give me no time to retract my statement and to take it down. Girl, you weren't gonna take it down. You was only gonna take it down for the fact that you were getting dragged up and down the social media streets. So she's been fired. Who knows if the show will still go? Bravo was trying to reboot this franchise of Housewives of New York with the old ladies and just had so many issues. She wouldn't sign on the contract due to um, I think it was her salary. She had issues, and so the women couldn't launch it then. This is their second try at it. And I mean, before cameras are even rolling, then people said cut, block, delete. And what was so funny in that video, too, I didn't play it in that clip, but there's a longer version where her boyfriend is saying to her, I don't think you should post this. I don't think you should say this. Like, my guy is really trying to look out for her, really trying to help her. And she's like, I don't care, honey. I don't care. It's that 250th. Well, welcome to the 250th anniversary, baby. And America's 250th anniversary ain't gonna celebrate no white people. Because at the end of the day, America ain't made up of no white people. And quiet as it's kept, here's a real fact. White people are not necessarily native to America. Y'all came here too. So all of y'all ancestry and lineage is tied to Europe, aka you's an immigrant. Clock that T. And on that note, that's gonna sum up my kind of review of the Super Bowl. I don't really have no notes. My only notes from Bad Bunny's performance was just I wish we would have had Bruno Mars, but we had Lady Gaga, she will do. And just kudos to the whole team who produced that. Also want to give a shout out to the black woman. Let me find her name. Charm LaDonna, who choreographed the Super Bowl performance, did an excellent job. She says she's done the Weekend and Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. That was amazing. There was also who gave out the MVP award. One second, let's find her. And Maria Taylor. Maria Taylor became the first Black woman to present the Vince Lombardi Trophy at the Super Bowl and also made history as the first Black woman to host the Super Bowl pregame show. So shout out to the Black women's. Happy Black History Month. And shout out to the Latinos. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Super Bowl performance. Maybe stay low because MAGA is after y'all right now. Stay low, okay? The girls are pissed. Ooh, and one more thing too. Trump was pissed. Trump and all them people who did that Turning Point USA halftime show, them people did all of that just to end up playing it at Mar-a-Lago on the screen. I saw clips where the TPUSA stadium was empty, cleared out. So even though everyone has so much to say, they were so pissed, they watched. They still watched this performance. Even if people hated it and they didn't want to watch it, they watched it just to be able to make hateful comments or complain or to just, pop their mouth off. So I feel like, yeah, let it be. Kudos. I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day or y'all evening whenever you listen to this. Thank you for tuning into another video, and I will talk to you soon. I think in my next video, I'm gonna cover some drama going down in sports. So, all right, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Bye.